Most people say no to these foods. And, I get it. At first glance, they can be, well, shocking, even a little intimidating. They kind of challenge our basic ideas of what food is supposed to look like, what it should feel like, or even where it comes from. But what if that initial shock, that gut reaction, is just the start of a much, much deeper story? A story about culture, about trust, and a really unique way of looking at the world.
See, in Japan, these dishes aren't there for shock value. Not at all. They are loved, they're a core part of the cuisine, they're woven right into the fabric of history, tradition, and believe it or not, some seriously cutting-edge technology. Every single one tells a story about a deep connection to nature, an incredible respect for the seasons, and an obsession with quality that is, honestly, unlike almost anywhere else on Earth.
So today, we're going to go on a little journey. We'll start with something that seems super simple, the raw egg, and uncover an amazing story of safety. Then, we'll dive into shirako, a prized and pretty mysterious winter delicacy. We'll see the kind of startling dancing squid, which is all about freshness. And finally, we'll face fugu, the art of dining with danger itself. So, let's get into it.
We're going to start our journey with something that feels simple, but for a lot of people outside Japan, it's maybe the most confusing of all, the raw egg. I mean, for most of us, a raw egg is a warning sign, right? It's a red flag, it's salmonella waiting to happen. But in Japan, it's something completely different. It's comfort, it's nutrition, it's trust.
And that's the big question, isn't it? How can a whole country feel totally safe cracking a raw egg over a warm bowl of rice for breakfast, while the rest of us are basically told never to do that? The answer isn't just about taste or tradition. It's about this invisible but incredibly powerful system of trust that's built on some of the strictest standards for hygiene and quality control on the entire planet.
The numbers here tell a story that's almost hard to wrap your head around. Okay, so in the United States, salmonella poisoning from all sorts of sources leads to an estimated 1.35 million cases a year, and sadly, over 400 deaths. Now, look at Japan, a nation of 125 million people who eat raw eggs all the time. They have fewer than 700 cases and usually 0 deaths from them. That massive difference isn't a coincidence. It's a choice. It's by design. It's the direct result of a meticulous, high-tech system that watches over every single step of an egg's journey, right from the hen to your table. This whole farm-to-table process is so solid, so baked into the food culture that eating a raw egg has gone from being a risk to one of the safest, most comforting things you can do in the country. So let's actually follow the journey of one of these eggs. Inside a Japanese GP, that's grading and packing factory, the process is just a marvel of precision. It all starts with washing and sanitizing in water that's kept at a perfect temperature to kill bacteria on the surface. But the next step is just as important. They're dried right away. A wet shell is a playground for germs, so that's a no-go. After that, the eggs pass under UV light for another round of sterilization, and then it gets almost futuristic. You have machines that gently tap each egg, listening for the sound of a tiny crack you could never see with your eye. Cameras scan for any little bit of dirt, and finally, a bright light shines through the shell, letting sensors check for any problems inside, like blood spots. This isn't just an assembly line, it's an assembly line of pure, absolute safety.
And all of that incredible technology, all of that care, it all leads to this beautifully simple dish, tamago kake gohan, or as they call it, TKG. It's a perfectly safe, raw egg cracked over a bowl of steaming hot rice with just a little splash of soy sauce. It is the country's ultimate comfort food. It's fast, it's nutritious, and it's just so good. It's a dish that, in its simplicity, really says it all. It can only exist because of that incredible system of trust. It's not just food. It's a symbol of Japan's obsession with quality.
Okay, for our next dish, we're moving from the familiar comfort of a raw egg to something that, for many people, is truly out there. It's a food you'll often see in Japan's best restaurants, served with this quiet elegance, especially during the coldest winter months.
I want you to just imagine a texture that is impossibly creamy, almost like a rich, savory custard that just melts the second it hits your tongue. It's considered a real luxury, a fleeting seasonal treat that foodies wait for all year. But what is it? Just looking at it, it's confusing. Some people say it looks like a brain, or maybe something even more alien.
This dish is called shirako. The name literally translates to white children, and it is the milt or sperm sacs of male fish, usually cod or pufferfish. And for a lot of people who aren't Japanese, this is where the conversation ends. The biological fact of what it is can be a really tough hurdle to get over. But in Japan, shirako is seen through a totally different lens. It's not defined by its biology. It's defined by its place in the world of food. It's a culinary treasure,
Sometimes they even poetically call it the sea's jewel. To really get this dish, you have to understand why it's considered so special.
The love for shiriko really boils down to a few key ideas in Japanese cooking. First, it's incredibly seasonal. The very best stuff is only available for a super short time, from about December to February, and that rarity makes it precious. Then, of course, there's the texture. It is just a sublime experience. So rich, so creamy, so delicate. It's also really valued for its nutrition. It's high in protein and vitamins, so it's traditionally seen as a food that gives you energy and strength during the cold winter. And chefs love how versatile it is. You can have it just lightly blanched with a citrusy ponzu sauce. You can grill it so the outside gets a little firm but the inside stays like lava, or you can even fry it in a light, crispy tempura batter. Every single way is just a celebration of winter.
Okay, so we've had a challenge of texture. Now we're moving on to a challenge of sight. This next dish is so dramatic, so visually wild, that videos of it are constantly going viral, usually with people shouting in disbelief or accusing it of being cruel. This is the world of otorigi, which means dancing eat.
In the port city of Hakodate and other places like it, you can order a specialty called a dancing squid ball. It comes to your table, and it just looks like sashimi over rice. But then, when you pour soy sauce over it, the squid's tentacles start to curl and writhe and dance as if it's suddenly come back to life. It's something you will never forget, and for a lot of people, it's a pretty unsettling sight.
But hold on. To understand what you're seeing, you have to understand the science. The squid is not alive. I repeat, it is not alive, and it is not in pain. Its brain has been removed quickly and humanely, so it is neurologically dead. The movement is just a reflex. The muscle cells are so unbelievably fresh that they still have their energy source. And the sodium in the soy sauce is basically a trigger that makes those fresh muscles contract and fire off, creating that wild dancing motion.
So what looks at first like some kind of cruel show is, in Japanese food culture, the ultimate sign of freshness. A squid can only dance like that if it was prepared literally moments before it got to you. It's a direct, undeniable link to the ocean, a living, moving guarantee that you are eating something at the absolute peak of its quality. It's not about shock, it's about a deep cultural reverence for freshness.
And now we've arrived at our final dish, the one that's the most legendary, the most feared of all Japanese delicacies, fugu, the pufferfish. This isn't just a food, it's a whole cultural phenomenon. It's a culinary dance with death that has fascinated and terrified people for hundreds of years.
It's the question every outsider asks, right? Why would anyone willingly eat a fish that has a poison, tetrodotoxin, that's over 500 times more powerful than cyanide with no known antidote? A single fish holds enough poison in its organs to kill 30 people. So why on earth would you take that risk? Well, to get it, we have to look back at its really complex and often forbidden history. This story really kicks off way back in 1592. The powerful warlord Toyotomi Hideyoshi straight up banned anyone from eating fugu after a bunch of his soldiers died from eating it wrong. So for almost 300 years, fugu was illegal food. But it never really went away. In the shadows, regular folks and thrill seekers would eat it as a kind of act of defiance, a test of courage. And it was during this time, when it was forbidden, that the techniques to prepare it safely were secretly developed and perfected by a very small group of people. So when the ban was finally lifted in the late 1800s, what was once a secret practice came out into the light as this highly respected and very strictly licensed culinary art.
And that history is everything, because it shows that eating fugu in Japan today is not a reckless gamble. It's an act of absolute trust. It's trust you place in a chef who has trained for years, passed incredibly difficult exams, and has the skill to remove every single trace of poison, leaving behind only the delicious, delicate meat. It's a tradition that wasn't built on ignoring danger, but on respecting it through total and complete mastery.
So from a perfectly safe raw egg made possible by technology to the meticulously prepared fugu born from centuries of tradition, we've seen foods that definitely challenge and provoke us. But as we've looked at the story behind each one, a deeper idea has started to come through loud and clear.
These foods aren't strange just for the sake of being strange. They are windows, giving us a direct look into the values of a culture. The simple TKG reveals a national obsession with safety and precision. Shiriko shows a deep, almost spiritual respect for the seasons. The dancing squid is a dramatic billboard for freshness, and fugu represents the ultimate respect for the power of nature, met with human skill and mastery.
Every one of these dishes tells a story that goes way beyond just its ingredients. They ask us to just pause for a second,
to look past our first reaction of no and to see the rich, beautiful culture that created them. The journey into Japanese food is full of these kinds of surprises, where what seems shocking at first becomes a lesson in history, or technology, or philosophy. And we haven't even touched on the smoky, grilled world of horomon, or the countless other local dishes that tell their own stories. Still can't believe it? Well, maybe those are tales for another time.